Ladies and gentlemen, key guest. Do you ever felt that gut-wrenching, soul-crushing pain of regret? It's a pain like no other. It's the kind that tears at you when you realize you've wasted time, opportunities, and potential. You look back and it eats you alive. You think, why didn't I act? Why didn't I take that shot? Why did I let fear control me? Regret doesn't let go. It grips you like a vice and shows you all the moments you should have moved, should have spoken up, should have pushed harder. It haunts you, and when it does, there's no escape. You know deep down that you have the power to change it, but you didn't. And it's your fault, no one else. It wasn't the world holding you back. It wasn't some obstacle you couldn't overcome. It was you. It was your weakness, your hesitation, your cowardice. That's why regret hurts so much. Because it's a reminder that you failed. You chose to be weak. And what happens after that? The guilt, the shame, the constant thought of how things could have been if you just pushed harder. You start to question everything. Who you are, what you could have been, what you could have achieved. And you want to scream, but you can't. Because you know you only have yourself to blame. But here's the truth, regret can't be fixed with tears. It can't be fixed with excuses or one day I'll know. It's only fixed by one thing: action. The future doesn't give a damn about your regret. The world doesn't care that you're sitting there, tortured by what you didn't do. So get up, now, right now. Don't let that regret destroy you. Channel that pain. Use it. Build from it. Turn that energy into something powerful. But whatever you do, don't let it hold you back. Regret is your wake-up call. It's your reminder that you're still breathing, that you still have time. And as long as you're still alive, you can make it right. No more waiting, no more excuses. Step into the fire. Burn your regrets away. Live like you know you're running out of time, because you are. That's the real pain, knowing that the time you wasted is gone, never to return. You feel it in your chest, don't you? That constant pressure, that suffocating weight deep inside. The pain of regret doesn't just sit quietly. It digs its claws into your soul, pulling you down when you least expect it. It's not a physical pain. No, it's much worse. It's the pain of knowing you've let time slip through your fingers. The pain of realizing you didn't act when you had the chance. The pain of missed opportunities that you can't get back. It's that moment when your mind flashes back to a decision you should have made, a risk you should have taken, a word you should have spoken, and you wonder, what if? What if I'd just done it? What if I hadn't let fear control me? What if I'd pushed myself just a little harder? You replay the moments in your head over and over, and every time you feel that sting. It's like a wound that never heals, a scar that never fades. You can't escape it. It's always there. And the worst part is, you know it's all on you. No one else made you hesitate. No one else held you back. It was you. It was your choice to sit in comfort, to avoid discomfort, to take the easy route. You can't blame the world. You can't blame other people. You can't even blame bad luck. Regret is all yours. It's your fault you didn't push when you could have. It's your fault you didn't take the opportunity when it was staring you in the face. You had the power to make a move, to change your life in an instant, but instead you let it slip away. You let it pass like the countless other opportunities that came and went without you even noticing. You convinced yourself there was always time. You told yourself you could always do it later, that tomorrow would be the day. But now tomorrow's here, and all you've got is a collection of what could have been. Regret doesn't play nice. It doesn't let you forget. It's like a shadow that follows you everywhere, reminding you of your failures, your weaknesses, and your missed chances. It's brutal, unforgiving, and relentless. And yet somehow we allow ourselves to wallow in it. We let it consume us because we think there's nothing we can do about it. We feel sorry for ourselves, thinking that regret is just something we have to live with, that it's a part of the process. But let me tell you something, regret doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't build your character. It doesn't teach you anything. It just weakens you, drains you, and keeps you stuck in the past. You sit there paralyzed, wishing for a time machine, wishing you could go back and undo your mistakes. But regret doesn't give you that luxury. It doesn't allow you to go back and redo things. It makes you relive it over and over again, like a film on repeat, showing you every single moment where you could have acted, every single moment where you chose to remain stagnant. It tortures you with what ifs. And it doesn't care if you're hurting. It doesn't care if you're struggling to breathe under the weight of your own failure. All it does is remind you that you could have been more. You could have been greater. And that's the truth that stings the most. It's not the fact that you failed. It's not that you missed your shot. It's the fact that deep down you know you could have succeeded. You know you could have done it if you hadn't held back. If you hadn't listened to that voice in your head telling you to wait, to play it safe, to stick with the familiar. You could have been the one who made it happen. You could have been the one who took control. But you chose the easy path, and now you're left with nothing but regret. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking regret is something you can't escape from, that it's an inevitable part of life. We all have regrets, right? We all screw up at some point, but that's a cop-out. Regret isn't some unavoidable consequence of living. It's the result of inaction, of choosing to be weak when you could have been strong. It's the result of avoiding discomfort, of taking the safe, easy way out instead of pushing yourself to be great. And here's the harsh reality: if you keep letting regret control you, if you keep allowing it to dictate your life, then you're only going to keep reliving it. It's going to become a cycle, a loop of failure that you'll never escape from. So what do you do with that pain? Do you sit back and let it destroy you? Do you let it dictate your future, making you too scared to take another chance to go after what you want? Or do you take that pain and use it? Do you take that regret, that hurt, and transform it into something that pushes you forward, that fuels you to never make the same mistake again? You can't change the past, but you can change your future. And that's where the power lies. Regret doesn't have to control you. It doesn't have to ruin you. It can be the fire that ignites your desire to never let another opportunity slip away. The pain of regret can be paralyzing, but it's also a signal, a wake-up call that you are still alive, that you still have time to change, to move, to act. If you feel regret, it means you're aware. You know where you went wrong. You can see the road you should have taken. Now it's your job to take the next road with all the power you can muster. Regret doesn't make you weak unless you let it. It's a reminder that you have more in you. You have the ability to do better. You have the ability to act with strength, courage, and conviction. But don't fool yourself into thinking it's just about moving on from regret. It's about learning from it. It's about understanding that regret isn't something you just get over and forget. It's something that should fuel your next move, that should drive you to never make the same mistake again. Also feel that pain. Let it sting. But don't sit in it. Don't drown in it. Use it to rise. Use it to build. And use it to never let another moment slip by. Because the moment you let regret control you, you're done. But the moment you control your regret, you're unstoppable. You want to know the truth about regret. It's not the world that's holding you back. It's not your circumstances, your environment, or even the people around you. It's you. You are the one who chose to stay where you are. You are the one who allowed fear to dictate your actions. You are the one who let the opportunity slip away because you weren't willing to take that first step. And deep down, you know it. You know you could have acted. You know you could have done something different, but you chose not to. That's the hardest truth you'll ever face. It's not the outside world that controls your life. It's your own decisions, your own actions, or your lack of action. Regret comes from within. It's not some external force that came in and knocked you down. It wasn't a bad break or a twist of fate that caused you to be in this position. It was your own mind, your own choices, and your own inability to push yourself past your own comfort zone. You have to face that. You have to own it. Because if you don't, then you'll never have the power to change. You'll be stuck in that endless loop of regret, blaming everything but yourself, never realizing that you're the one in control. You're the one who let fear, doubt, and hesitation take the wheel. You're the one who stopped yourself from going after what you wanted. You're the one who chose the easy path instead of the hard one. When you look back on your life, when you feel that ache of regret, you're not just looking at the missed opportunities, the moments you failed to seize. You're looking at yourself. You're looking at the fact that you didn't take the chance. You didn't take that risk. You didn't push through the fear. You gave into the voice in your head that told you it was too risky, that told you it wasn't worth it, that told you it was easier to play it safe. You listened to that voice. And now you're paying the price. The world didn't stop you. Other people didn't stop you. You stopped you. You are the one who put the brakes on your own potential, who told yourself you weren't ready, you weren't good enough, you didn't have what it takes. You are the one who believed the lies your own mind told you. And the hardest part is that at some point you started believing it. You started thinking you couldn't do it. You started thinking that maybe you didn't deserve it. You let your fears and doubts build up until they paralyzed you, until they stopped you from taking that next step, from making that next move, from seizing that next opportunity. And now here you are, filled with regret. But here's the kicker, that regret is yours, and it's only there because you allowed it to be. The moment you chose to stay comfortable, the moment you chose fear over action, the moment you chose to doubt yourself instead of believing in your own power, that's when regret started to take hold. That's when it began to carve itself into your soul, eating away at you every day, reminding you of your failures and your missed chances. It's not a cruel twist of fate. It's not some cosmic joke. It's the natural result of your own choices. It's hard to hear, but it's the truth. And it's the only truth that matters. Because as soon as you accept that you are the reason for your own regret, that's when you can start changing it. That's when you can take back control. You're not some helpless victim. You are in charge of your own life, and you always have been. All those times you thought you couldn't act, all those times you thought you weren't ready, you were in control. You just didn't act. And it's time to stop hiding from that reality. When you face that truth, when you accept that you are the one who chose to play it safe, you'll understand something powerful. You can also choose to take action. You can choose to stop making the same mistakes. You can choose to start taking risks, to start pushing yourself past your comfort zone. It's all on you. But first, you have to own it. You have to own the fact that you were the one who held yourself back. Only then can you take the next step. Only then can you change your trajectory. Only then can you stop living with regret and start living with purpose. But here's the reality: you can't sit in regret forever. You can't keep blaming yourself for the rest of your life. At some point, you have to use that regret as fuel. You have to use it to drive you forward, to make sure you don't make the same mistake again. You have to use it to push you harder, to get you to stop making excuses and start making progress. Regret should be the thing that fuels your next move, not the thing that holds you back. It should be the fire that ignites you to go harder, to go further, to take the risks you were too afraid to take before. But that can only happen when you stop blaming the world and start accepting responsibility for your actions. Regret doesn't exist because the world screwed you over. Regret exists because you allowed it to happen. You let fear make your decisions. You let doubt take control. And until you face that, you'll never truly break free. Until you own the fact that it was you who held yourself back, you'll never have the strength to move forward. And that's the power you need to tap into. Once you realize that you are the one in control, that you are the one who made the choices that led you to this point, that's when you get to change. That's when you get to rewrite your story. That's when you get to make sure that regret is no longer your master. You can choose to be the one who decides where your life goes from here. You can choose to stop playing it safe, to stop making excuses, and to start doing the things you've been too afraid to do. You can choose to stop listening to the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that tells you you can't, that tells you to wait. You are the one who decides. And when you finally take responsibility for your own choices, when you finally take the power back, you'll never have to face regret again. You'll face challenges, yes. You'll face adversity, yes. But you won't face regret. You'll face the future with confidence, knowing that you're in control, knowing that you're the one who made the decision to move forward. The moment you own your actions is the moment you stop being controlled by fear and regret. That's when you'll be unstoppable. You know what's worse than failure? The guilt. The shame that comes after you realize you could have done better, that you should have done better, that you had the opportunity and let it slip through your fingers. That feeling isn't something you can escape. It follows you. It haunts you. It eats away at you from the inside. It reminds you of everything you didn't do, of everything you could have been. It reminds you that you were too scared, too lazy, too comfortable, too afraid to take that step when it counted. And the worst part, it doesn't go away. It doesn't forgive you. It doesn't allow you to forget. You keep playing those moments over and over in your mind, wondering where it all went wrong, where you could have turned things around. but you didn't. You didn't make that choice. You didn't take that risk, and now you have to live with it. That's the reality of regret. It doesn't just exist in your mind as a passing thought. No, it embeds itself deep inside you. It's like a stain on your soul. It marks you. It reminds you that you didn't push yourself hard enough. It reminds you that you were weak. You let fear control you. You let uncertainty stop you. You chose comfort over growth. You chose security over possibility. And every time you feel that weight, every time you think about those moments where you could have been great, you feel the shame. You feel the guilt that comes from knowing that you were the one who failed yourself. No one else. You are the reason you didn't act. You are the reason you stayed in the shadows. You are the reason you didn't take that leap. And now you have to live with it. The guilt doesn't just attack your mind, it eats away at your confidence. It poisons your self-esteem. It tells you you're not good enough. It tells you that you're not capable of the success you desire. It whispers to you that you'll never make it, that you'll never be enough because you let the perfect moment pass by. And every time you hear that voice, you believe it. You start thinking that maybe you are a failure. You start thinking that maybe this is the life you're destined for. That success and greatness aren't meant for you. The shame convinces you to doubt yourself, to question your abilities, to stay small, to play it safe. And that's exactly what guilt wants. It wants to paralyze you. It wants you to stay stuck. It wants you to live in the past, to keep thinking about the chances you missed, to keep feeling sorry for yourself. But you can't let it. You can't let guilt take control. You can't let it define who you are or who you can become. Guilt doesn't change anything. It doesn't fix the past. It doesn't give you a chance to go back and try again. It's a useless emotion that serves no purpose but to keep you trapped. It's there to stop you from moving forward. It's there to remind you of what you could have done differently, but it will never tell you how to fix it. It will never help you find a way out. All it does is keep you stuck, making you replay your mistakes over and over until you're paralyzed by fear and doubt. The only way to get rid of guilt is to take action. You need to stop wallowing in it. You need to stop beating yourself up over your mistakes and start doing something about it. The guilt is never going to go away on its own. It's never going to disappear because you sit there and feel sorry for yourself. It will only go away when you do something. When you get up, take responsibility for your actions and take massive action to make things right. If you keep thinking that guilt is going to somehow fix the problem, you're wrong. Guilt doesn't fix anything. Only your actions can. You've got to stop focusing on the past and start focusing on what you can do right now. You've got to take the guilt and use it as fuel to drive you forward, to push you to become better, to make sure you never make the same mistake again. The longer you sit in guilt, the longer you allow it to control you, the more damage it does to your future. It holds you back from becoming who you're supposed to be. It holds you back from the success, the growth, and the greatness that's waiting for you. You have everything you need inside you to overcome this. You have the strength to change your situation, to turn things around, to stop making the same mistakes. But you've got to stop looking backward. You've got to stop focusing on your failures and start focusing on what you can do right now. You've got to stop being a prisoner of your past and start being the architect of your future. And here's the truth: guilt is a choice. You choose to let it control you. You choose to let it define you. No one else is making you feel guilty. It's your own mind, your own thoughts that are keeping you stuck in that place of shame. But you have the power to choose differently. You have the power to choose to move forward. You have the power to choose to use that guilt as a motivator to act. The moment you stop giving guilt power is the moment you free yourself from it. You free yourself from the chains that are holding you back, from the thoughts that are keeping you in the past. You can't change what's already happened, but you can change what happens next. And that's where the power lies. Guilt won't let go until you let it go. It will cling to you. It will try to drag you down. It will try to tell you that you'll never be good enough. But the moment you step up, the moment you take responsibility, the moment you choose action, that's when guilt loses its grip on you. That's when you take control back. That's when you stop being a victim and start being the victor. You own your past, you own your mistakes, and you own your future. No more sitting in the guilt. No more letting it stop you. Get up, take action, and make it right. That's the only way to silence that voice, to kill the shame, to destroy the guilt. So stop letting guilt control your life. Stop letting it hold you back. Use it as a lesson, not a prison. Use it as fuel, not a burden. And take that first step toward the future you deserve. You've got this. You've always had this. Now, take control and make it happen. Listen closely, because this is where everything changes. You can keep pretending that everything is fine. You can keep lying to yourself, telling yourself that you don't have the time, the energy, the resources, or the opportunities to do what you really want. But deep down, you know the truth. You know that you're the one holding yourself back. It's not the world that's keeping you stuck. It's not the economy, it's not your circumstances, it's not the people around you, it's you. It's always been you. And it's time for you to face that reality head on. You're the reason you're not where you want to be. You're the reason you're still stuck in the same place, the same cycle, the same routine. No one else is to blame. No one else is responsible for your failures, for your struggles. The only one who can change this is you. You're living in the comfort zone, and that's where most people die. They die slowly over time without ever really living. They let fear control them. They let doubt and excuses take over their lives. And you're doing the exact same thing. You tell yourself that you're not ready. You tell yourself that you'll do it tomorrow. You tell yourself that it's too hard, too risky, that you need to play it safe. But let me tell you something, safe is the most dangerous place to be. If you're playing it safe, you're playing with your life. You're wasting your potential. You're wasting your time. You're wasting everything you could be, everything you could do. You think the world is just going to hand you what you want? You think you can sit back and wait for opportunities to fall into your lap? Newsflash, nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing worth achieving comes by sitting around and hoping for a miracle. Success doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your fears. It doesn't care about your comfort zone. It's ruthless. It only cares about one thing: action. And if you're not taking action, you're not moving toward anything. You're stuck. You're spinning your wheels, going nowhere, making zero progress. But here's the thing: you have the power to change all of that. You have the power to break free from this cycle. You have the power to stop playing small and start playing big. But only if you stop listening to that voice in your head that tells you to stay comfortable, to stay safe, to stay stuck. When you get to the point where you stop making excuses, when you stop telling yourself that it's not possible, that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that's when everything changes. When you stop worrying about failure, when you stop fearing the unknown, that's when you unlock your true potential. That's when you start moving forward. You're not going to get anywhere by sitting around waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There's only the moment you decide to take action. There's only the moment you decide to make a change. And that moment is right now. So stop procrastinating. Stop saying you'll do it tomorrow. Stop saying one day when you know the only thing you're really saying is never. The world doesn't wait for you. Time doesn't wait for you. The moment you realize that everything you've been telling yourself is just an excuse, that's when you step into your power. That's when you stop being a victim of your own thoughts and start becoming the creator of your life. You don't need anyone else's permission to succeed. You don't need validation from anyone else to go after your dreams. All you need is the decision to stop waiting and to start acting. The only thing holding you back is fear, the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough. And guess what? That fear will never go away. It's always going to be there, lurking in the background, trying to hold you down, trying to stop you from taking action. But here's the truth: you can either let that fear control you, or you can use it to fuel you. You can either let it paralyze you, or you can use it as the fire that pushes you to take the next step, to go after what you want, to take risks, to go after greatness.
Fear is nothing more than an illusion. It's the voice in your head that tells you you can't. It's the voice that tells you you'll fail. It's the voice that tells you you're not ready. But it's all lies. And if you listen to that voice, you'll never move forward. You'll never achieve anything. You'll stay stuck, spinning your wheels, making the same excuses over and over. But if you choose to ignore that voice, if you choose to take action anyway, you'll start to realize that fear has no power over you. Fear is nothing more than a shadow that disappears the moment you step into the light of action. The truth is, you're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of what people will think. You're afraid of what happens if you try and fail. You're afraid of looking foolish, of being judged. But guess what? That's the price of success. The world doesn't care if you fail. The world doesn't care if you make mistakes. What the world cares about is whether or not you keep going. If you fail, so what? Get back up and try again. If you get rejected, so what? Get back up and try again. But you will never know what you're capable of if you don't take that first step. You'll never know what could be waiting for you on the other side if you don't push through the fear. Stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop waiting for the right moment. The right moment is now. You want change? You want success? You want everything you've been dreaming of? Then stop making excuses and take action. The only thing standing between you and your goals is your willingness to step outside your comfort zone. And once you do that, once you decide to take control, once you decide to step outside your comfort zone, then stop playing small. You'll see how much power you have to change your life, and your future begins. The very moment you start, you'll see how much potential is waiting inside you. But you'll never see it if you keep playing it safe. You'll never see it if you keep listening to the voices that tell you it's too hard, it's too risky, it's too much work. All it will do is make you think more rationally and decisively. The time for excuses is over. The time for waiting is over. The time for action is now. Step up. Go after what you want. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let doubt stop you. Don't let doubt stop you. Because you have what it takes to change everything. You just have to make the decision to take that first step. And once you do, you'll realize that the life you've always wanted is waiting for you. All you have to do is go out and grab it. Listen up, because you need to understand this right now. You cannot keep letting yourself get consumed by the past. You cannot keep letting those old mistakes, those old decisions, those old failures dictate your future. The past is done, and it's time for you to let it go. Every single one of us has made mistakes. Every single one of us has failed. That's part of the game. But what separates those who rise from those who stay stuck is their ability to move on, to let go of the past, and to refuse to be a prisoner of it. The past doesn't define you unless you allow it to. It's like a weight tied around your neck, dragging you down, keeping you stuck in a place where you can't move forward. But you're the one who's holding that weight. You're the one who keeps looking back, reliving those moments, replaying those failures over and over in your head. Why? Why would you keep yourself chained to something you can't change? Why would you keep dragging around a burden that's only holding you back? You've got to let go. You've got to stop playing that victim role. Stop using your past as an excuse for why you can't succeed. The truth is, the more you focus on those past failures, the more you allow them to control you, the more you will keep making the same mistakes. You will keep repeating those cycles, those patterns, those self-destructive behaviors, because you're too busy looking behind you to see what's in front of you. You're too busy worrying about the past to focus on what you can do in the present. You're too busy thinking about what went wrong to think about what you can do right now to change your life. And as long as you're stuck in that mindset, you will never move forward. You will never break free from that cycle of regret and guilt that's keeping you from achieving your potential. Silly me. What am I doing being so miserable? Every single person who has ever achieved greatness, who has ever done anything remarkable, has learned to let go of the past. They've learned to stop making excuses based on what happened before. They've learned to stop allowing past failures to define their actions today. The past is just a series of moments that are gone. It's over. And if you keep focusing on it, you are letting it control your present and your future. You are allowing it to dictate your decisions. You're allowing it to rob you of your power. The past doesn't have the right to control you unless you give it that power. So stop giving it that power. Stop letting your failures, your mistakes, or your regrets decide who you are today. You can't change what happened. You can't undo the things you wish you hadn't done. You can't go back and fix those mistakes. But what you can do is change how you view the past. You can change how you let it affect you. You can choose to see it as a lesson, a stepping stone, something that taught you what not to do next time. You can choose to look at it as the foundation of the future you're about to build. And maybe you can choose to look at it as the foundation of the future you're about to build. Every failure is a lesson, and every lesson is a step towards success. You can take that energy, that regret, that pain, and use it to fuel your fire. You can use it to push yourself harder, to work smarter, to be better. That's how you turn pain into power. That's how you turn past mistakes into the fuel that drives you to a better future. But you can only do that if you let go of the past. Holding on to your past failures is like holding on to a broken anchor. You're just dragging it around, sinking deeper and deeper, and never getting anywhere. You think it's protecting you. You think it's somehow keeping you grounded, but it's not. It's drowning you. It's keeping you stuck in place. It's preventing you from moving forward. You need to cut that anchor loose. You need to leave the past where it belongs, in the past. And if you do that, you will free yourself from the burden of regret. You will free yourself from the weight of guilt. You will free yourself from the chains of self-doubt that are holding you back from achieving everything you want in life. You're not the same person you were yesterday, and you're not the same person you were a year ago. You've grown, you've learned, you've experienced things that have changed you, and if you let them, those experiences can empower you to be better. The person you are today is not the person who made those mistakes. You are stronger, smarter, more capable than you were before. But you will never realize that if you keep looking in the rearview mirror. You will never see the potential you have if you're too busy focusing on the past. You need to take those lessons, take that experience, and use it as fuel for the person you're becoming. The only way you'll ever be able to move forward is by releasing the hold the past has on you. Stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting for the perfect time. And stop telling yourself that you'll make a change once you've healed from your past. You'll never fully heal until you let go. You'll never find peace until you decide to stop dragging the weight of your past with you everywhere you go. You can't change the past, but you can change your future, and that starts with the decision to move on. Look, it starts with the decision to stop allowing yesterday's failures to decide today's actions. It starts with the decision to forgive yourself, to accept what's happened, and to use it to become the best version of yourself moving forward. It starts with the decision to stop giving the power to the past. You have to forgive yourself. You have to stop punishing yourself for things you can't change. You have to stop letting that guilt eat away at you. Stop letting it stop you from taking action. You are human, and humans make mistakes. That's part of life. But that's not where your story ends. It's just a chapter. It's just a part of the journey. And if you keep going, if you keep moving forward, you will write a new chapter. You will create a new story. One where your past is nothing more than a distant memory. One where your mistakes are lessons that you have learned from. And one where you are constantly evolving into a stronger, more capable person. The truth is, you can't move forward if you keep dragging the past with you. It's holding you back. It's keeping you stuck in a place of frustration, regret, and self-doubt. But if you make the decision to let go, If you make the decision to stop focusing on what's behind you, you will unlock your true power. You will be free to move toward the future you deserve. You will be unstoppable. But only if you let go of the past. Only if you refuse to let it control you anymore. Your future is waiting for you. But you have to be willing to release the past, to embrace what's coming. It's time to move forward. It's time to let go. And it's time to step into your greatness. You want to know what makes the difference between the successful and the mediocre? It's not talent. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's the willingness to stay in the game when everyone else quits. The difference is resilience. The difference is mental toughness. People talk about success like it's some easy, straight path where everything just falls into place. They tell you it's about being in the right place at the right time. It's not about tracking down. They say it's about connections, the right opportunities, or waiting for that magical moment. But that's all nonsense. Success isn't about any of that. It's about one thing: your ability to endure, to keep going when it feels impossible. It's about having the grit to push through every obstacle that gets in your way, no matter how many times you get knocked down, how many times you fail, or how many times you feel, or how many people tell you it's not worth it.
When you're in the fight of your life, when you're pushing for that next level, when you're trying to achieve what no one in your family has ever done, what no one around you believes is possible, that's when you'll find out who you really are. That's when you'll see if you've got what it takes. You think the successful people in this world got there by being comfortable? Hell no. They got there because they were willing to put in the work when no one was watching. They got there because they didn't quit when the going got tough. They didn't let the first, second, or 100th setback stop them. Every failure was just another lesson. Every no was just another not yet. Every rejection, every roadblock, every failure only made them more determined, more focused, and more unstoppable. You have to stop thinking of failure as the end. Stop thinking that one bad day or one bad decision means you failed for good. That's just your mind telling you to quit. That's your ego trying to keep you comfortable. The truth is, every failure, every setback is an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to show the world, and more importantly, show yourself what you're made of. You think success comes easily? You think people like you and me just show up one day and everything clicks? No, success is forged in the fire of struggle. It's built in the moments when you think you can't go on, when your body aches, when your mind tells you to quit, and when everyone around you is telling you to just relax or take a break. Those are the moments when you need to double down. Those are the moments that separate the winners from the losers. When you decide that no matter what happens, you will not quit, you will not give up, you will not stop until you have what you came for, that's when everything changes. That's when you step into your true power. But it's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It's supposed to challenge you. It's supposed to push you to your limits. That's how you grow. And if you're not being challenged, if you're not being pushed, then you're not really living. You're just existing. You're just coasting. And coasting never gets anyone anywhere. So when you're faced with adversity, when things aren't going your way, when you feel like the world is against you, that's when you need to dig in your heels and fight harder. That's when you need to show up, even when you don't feel like it. That's when you need to push through the pain, the doubt, and the fear. Success doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your struggles. It doesn't care about how many times you've been knocked down. It only cares about one thing: your ability to get up over and over again and keep moving forward. That's what makes you unstoppable. That's what makes you a winner. And here's the kicker: no one's going to do it for you. No one's going to hand you success. No one's going to give you the life you want. It's not going to be easy. There's no one coming to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to rise above the noise, rise above the pain, rise above the setbacks, and keep pushing forward even when it seems impossible. That's the price you pay for greatness. That's the price you pay for success. You think it's hard? Hell yeah, it's hard. But what's harder is living a life where you never go after what you want. What's harder is living a life full of regrets, wishing you had tried. Wishing you had tried, wishing you had pushed harder, wishing you had given more. That's what most people live with. They live with that weight of regret, the weight of knowing they didn't give it everything they had. And when you realize that you didn't give it your all, that's when you know it's over. That's when you know you've lost. You're not going to win by giving up. You're not going to win by playing it safe. You're not going to win by staying in your comfort zone. You're only going to win by refusing to quit, by refusing to stop, by refusing to let anything or anyone stop you from achieving your goals. So what are you going to do? Are you going to quit at the first sign of resistance, or are you going to push forward, get tougher, get stronger, and keep grinding until you've got what you want? The choice is yours. But make no mistake, success is reserved for those who refuse to quit. If you want it bad enough, if you're willing to fight for it, if you're willing to stay in the game, no matter how hard it gets, you will get there. But if you give up when things get tough, if you let one failure or one setback stop you, you will never get to where you want to be. The game isn't won by the smartest or the most talented. It's won by the one who is willing to endure, to outlast, and to refuse to quit. So take the pain, take the struggle, take the rejection, take the failure, and turn it into fuel. Turn it into fire that will drive you to the top, because that's where you're headed. If you can endure, if you can stay in the fight, if you can push through when everyone else is giving up, there is nothing that can stop you. But you have to make that choice. You have to decide that quitting is not an option. The world doesn't care how many times you fail. The world doesn't care how many mistakes you make. The world only cares about one thing, whether or not you keep going. So get back up, keep going, and don't stop until you've conquered what you came for. Stop looking back and dwelling on past mistakes. They don't define you. Embrace failure as part of the journey, not the end. Your strength comes from your resilience, not from avoiding struggles. Keep going when everyone else quits, and let your persistence be your power. The road to greatness is only for those who refuse to stop, so don't stop, ever.